Hey guys, this is IrieStarcraft and I'm back to cast another game for you. This one is going to be a 3 versus 3 and it will be on Cinder Fortress. I'm not sure if I've actually ever cast a game on this map. It is relatively new. I like this map a lot. And I'll talk about its layout in a little bit, but for now I'm going to introduce the players. And so you guys know, this is going to be a diamond level 3 versus 3. So it's not masters, so hold all your flames. This is diamond level. There'll probably be some opportunities for learning experiences as we watch this replay, but nonetheless I heard it is pretty good, so I'm looking forward to the cast. And I'm going to get to the players now. It will be PhyitR, the red Terran player, and his teammates will be edamame. I love those edamame. What are those little green beans that you get at sushi restaurants? So good. I love salty foods. I don't know what it is. Anyway, he is the blue Terran, and their teammate is GSPRUSH, and he is an all caps player. He's the teal Protoss. You guys know how I feel about all caps players. I really just think they're trying to compensate for something. I can't really place what that is, but the all caps thing I just never understood. Anyway, their opponents are going to be iFluX, and he has been quickly scouted by a GSPRUSH, who is not getting to be cheesing with any cannons or anything, because he did throw down that gateway. Their teammates, or his teammates, excuse me. Okay, we have iFluX, and his teammates will be Ketricel, the purple Protoss, and KoRyoIHN, KoRyoIHN. Either way, we'll call him the orange Zerg for now, or just Koryo. And he is throwing down a pool at about 14. So pretty safe standard opener back from the Zerg. And again, this map, pretty big map. You can see the rush distance is very far. And so by the time the Zerglings get up here, it's unlikely they will be able to do very much from a standard 10 pool, that is. However, there are 2 openings. You have shared base here, shared base. Very nice and close, so it is possible to defend the early rushes and proxies and stuff. And but there are 2 openings here, as you see GSPRUSH doing the standard Zergling, the anti-Zergling Protoss wall. And I know you guys have heard me talk about this, about how I got so sick of walling and getting screwed over by a bunch of Zerglings that I decided not to wall anymore. And then I started getting screwed over by not walling from not noticing cheese, because I didn't have a wall at the front, so I was getting cheesed more easily. And so now I've gone back to walling. Usually, when I'm going against, if I'm going against a team that has more Zergs than my team, which is the case with GSPRUSH, I will wall. And sometimes even if the same, because the wall can still help you against things like Hellion run-bys, though a lot of people like to do Hellion drops nowadays. And so anyway, we do see 2 bunkers being thrown on at the front here for the Terran players. And I think you can run units through here, maybe not some of the bigger units. But what do we have here? We have a fast robo facility coming out from Ketricel. So it looks like he is probably, going to be doing a 3-gate robo build, and this is one of my favorite builds I've been doing a lot lately. As you guys know, Immortals have been beefed up, man. They're so beefy, man. I love me some Immortals, and so I've been getting a couple of those out pretty early, especially when I'm going against Terran, teams that are heavily laden with Terran and Protoss. I will tend to do that because a normal Terran opener versus a TOS team is to go for those Marauders, and Immortals just own the Marauders. They're so awesome. So anyway, we have Koryo, who has gotten a fairly fast expansion and starting to get that saturated, but he does not have, he's basically been just droning non-stop here. He only has a couple of Zerglings out. And I didn't talk much about this map. As you can see, Ketricel with a Zealot coming out here, and I'm wondering what he's going to be doing with that Zealot just chilling up here. That is an interesting place to be putting him and just sitting up there, but probably just trying to scout with that, though there is a Zergling here. Anyway, these 2 natural expansions here are fairly easy to take early on, but later in the game these rocks can be taken out so quickly, and armies can just storm right up here, so you got to be careful about that later on in the game. It looks like Ketricel and Koryo are just sort of camping out, making sure they want to see when and if the top team is going to expand. They still see no expansions, so that should cue them in. that there's probably going to be a pretty decent sized push coming pretty soon. The top team may be thinking about doing a one base timing push here. And now from GSPRUSH, he is chrono boosting out Blink and getting a bunch of observers. So it looks like he is planning on being very, very annoying with his Blink. And one thing you can do, Blink and observers, obviously, you put the observers down here in the back and just blink up, shoot a bunch of probes, blink down, run around and snipe stuff, because Blink stalkers are so mobile. You can oftentimes come in the back of someone's base, kill a bunch of probes, and then once the army comes to help, you can blink past them, run down here, kill a few probes, and then run over here, kill a few drones and stuff, and you can do a lot of damage that way. But iFluX looks like he is going to scout that. He does not see the research going on this Twilight Council, so he may not know, but oh, it looks like GSPRUSH just got his observer out, and will he be able to snipe this? He does have Blink. He could have probably blinked and killed this observer. It is going to be close. I don't think he can see it. Oh, this is a close moment. Oh, I think this observer will get away. Nice job from Flux right there to save that observer. Sometimes you just can't help it, man. I'm telling you. You send the observer up and you run up, and all of a sudden there's a missile turret, a bunch of Marines, and your observer's just dead. So sometimes you can't help it. It's always a good idea to send your observers around sort of the back, not right up the front. Send them in the back, and then sort of cruise along and scout where the army is from the back side. But it looks like we are going to be pushing out here. We have Marines and Marauders from Edamame, tanks, and Marines. Make it 5 tanks from PhyitR, and the Blink Stalkers are on their way out. I don't know if there's a proxy pylon. There's an observer here, and another observer, and another observer. So the Blink Stalkers will be able to go all over the place, but there is no proxy pylon. So that is going to hurt GSPRUSH. He is sitting on a lot of minerals and gas right now, so he should be thinking about warping in some more Stalkers. But again, this is diamond level. We already have iFluX already with a Colossus out, and this is going to be key. He does have a photon cannon in the back as well, so that is going to prevent the observer from getting that blink warp in the back. And uh-oh, this Colossi and this army from Flux pushing up into a group of siege tanks that sieged up. Man, if those tanks had been sieged up a little bit sooner, that whole army could be dead, but he did manage to save most of it. He did lose the Colossus. They're the 2 Protoss players on the bottom trying to get these expansions going. Ketricel already with some very nice saturation here, so his economy should be pretty far ahead, as well as KoRyo. But now it looks like the Terran players from the top team are going to be abusing the cliff right here, using this observer to spot the high ground, and now it looks like Flux and Ketricel going to try and take this army head on, but the tanks are just firing away in the back, doing so much damage right now. And finally, there is a proxy pylon here and some more Stalkers warping. It looks like this army is going to get taken out, and now iFluX is going to be in a lot of trouble. But here comes the Mutalisk for KoRyo, and will he be able to take this out? It does not look like it. There's too many Marines and Stalkers still left. He's got to be very careful with these Mutalisks, and he wants to try and focus down at these siege tanks that he possibly can. He could come around the back now using the blink. Was rushed to get on the high ground, so that is on cooldown. It is down now, and he is jumping down to force these Mutalisks away. And KoRyo is losing quite a bit of Mutalisks. He was able to take out 3 tanks, but that is all. And now iFluX is going to be stuck on this new base. I'm not sure how many probes he was able to save. It looks like some of them. But he is going to be pumping some more Colossus. He already has finished his Thermal Lance, and now the Mutas are going to be doing what they do best, which is harassing Mineral Lines. How many probes can they kill? Good reaction time here from Rush, though, is going to run his probes away. Gotta save those probes, man. And the Marine's gonna come over and ward that away. And iFluX has left the game. The Blink Stalkers coming up to take out his expansion, and iFluX is going to go ahead and leave the game. I think that may have been a rage quit, but his team definitely not out quite yet. They do have map control with the Mutalisks, and Ketricel now has Colossus Tech as well. And the two teammates here, Purple and Orange, they have a really strong economy. And so they are on 4 base, where the top team is still only on 3 base. So I'm surprised that iFluX decided to leave that game. What you can do in that situation, you guys, if you're iFluX right there and you say, okay, I'm screwed, there's no way I'm coming back in this game, even though he does have this army. Okay, but in the case that he had been really screwed and had his whole army taken out, you can have your teammates just ask for control, and for example, just have iFluX control either this group of Zerglings or this group of Mutas and just permanently harass and spend all his APM on the harassment while your teammate macros. I'm telling you guys, man, that is the way to do it. You'd be surprised how many games you can come back from. And oh, there's some siege tanks here from PhyitR just chilling. If these Mutas could see those siege tanks, they might have. I'm not sure if Koryo was paying attention though. Free siege tank kills over here. I don't know if he's gonna get them though. They may get away. I don't think the Zerglings are going to see. Finally, PhyitR is going to be landing a command center, an orbital command, at this natural expansion location and sending a lot of SCVs down. So his economy is going to be picking up fairly quickly here. And at the same time, GSPRUSH will be throwing down a Nexus at this location. And what about edamame? He does have a second command center, but it has not been upgraded to anything. He is sitting on a ton of minerals. This is something that I have trouble with when I am Terran. When I play Terran, which isn't very often, make a lot of extra barracks. Because you'll end up sitting on a lot of minerals and you can just pump out a whole bunch of Marines. And a couple of Mutas, possibly a bad rally point there, getting taken out. And oh no, these Mutas are going to be taking out some of these Stalkers. And here it comes Ketricel controlling Flux's army. And there are 5 Colossi here. And Zealot soaking up the damage in the front, just wreaking havoc, steamrolling this army. And it is not looking good for the top team all of a sudden. The tanks finally, though, have moved over into position. It's going to be up to PhyitR to try and hold this. Can the Colossi take out some of these siege tanks? It's going to be pretty close here. I think PhyitR may be in a lot of trouble, but once these Stalkers go down, these Colossi are going to take a ton of damage from the siege tanks in the back. The Colossi need to focus down the siege tanks, and it looks like they will be able to take them out, but how many Colossi will be left? There may only be 2 left. And now with a few Mutalisks, and oh, the Thor getting a lot of splash damage on these Mutas. They were all grouped up there. More Mutas, though, are on the way in from Koryo, trying to do the magic box trick over the Thor, something you want to know how to do if you are a Zerg player. I'm sure a lot of you do know that, but it looks like the bottom team will be storming right inside GSPRUSH's base. The Nexus could be in serious trouble. The probes are desperately trying to run away, but there are a couple of Vikings out now on the field for PhyitR trying to take out these Colossi, and I think he will be able to. There's no anti-air left here. Where did the Mutas go? There's a few meters here, and it does not look like they were focusing down the Vikings, but there are enough Marines on the ground to take that out. So some desperation Vikings coming up clutch for the top Terran team. And man, those Vikings are just such a hard counter to Colossi. They just go through them so fast. Edamame, man, he really needs to lift off this command center and grab a new base. It looks like he did finally get some reactors on these barracks to pump out some more Marines. And he is getting some nice upgrades on those Marines. We have 2-1 on this bio army, and we have 1-0 on PhyitR's bio army. And it looks like some Mutas harassing the rocks here. Gonna lose one of them. But now Ketricel, and he is able to mine gas from his departed teammate. And look, they've even resaturated iFluX's main base, and looks like even using his robotics facility to just keep pumping those Colossus out. So resourceful there, very resourceful play. As you guys know, iFluX has already left this game. And looks like we may have another major engagement in the middle here. Marines are stimming up, but they are going to run away. There are a couple Colossi in this army that could just melt these Marines. They need the cover of the siege tanks, so they are going to fall back. And it looks like some Mutas have taken out rocks over here. I think Koryo wants to expand at that location. And meanwhile, where are we going here? This Colossi, I'm telling you, man, when you have Colossi grouped up with your main army, sometimes you gotta be careful about their pathing. As that is something that has cost me games before, actually, where I didn't realize that my Colossi were taking a different path than the rest of my army, and they end up getting caught. Always gotta be careful about that. I noticed while I was watching Huck play, I like to watch Huck play, he's one of my favorite players to watch, and Huck actually puts his Colossi in a different control group. than the rest of his army, which is something I used to do when I was first playing, and then I saw so many players just group everything to one control group and then just use their micro in the battle, just like double click the Colossus or click the individual Colossus to do the micro. So once I got a little better at micro, that's how I do it now. I just group it all in one control group here. These Colossi will be able to harass this mineral line, and a lot of SCVs are stacked up right now. Look at how many SCVs are getting melted away. There are a couple Vikings here, but the Stalkers cannot reach them. That is why these Vikings are such a good counter to the Colossi. They have such long range. What is the range on this? Range 9. So what is that, the same as a Colossus? I think it is, yeah, range 9. So those Vikings are able to just stay back here on the high ground and keep firing away. Couple new fresh expansions going down over at this location, and possibly going to be seeing another base going down at the gold here. This gold is a pretty good. These golds are takeable. They're a little exposed. You know, if you have the map controller, you definitely want to try and grab that gold. So ping going off up at this base. Possibly Koryo could be thinking about flanking and taking out Teal's expansion up here, GSPRUSH. We will see, though. We will see. Is this death ball of Colossi and Stalkers starting to get a little scary? Again, the Colossi taking an interesting route. And there are really so many Vikings getting messed up now that it would be a good time to make a tech switch. As you see, GSPRUSH actually throwing down 2 Stargates. Will they come down in time for him to make anything out of it? But here come the Zerglings, and Muta's going to easily clean up this base. And it looks like edamame wants to try and save this base, but that is not enough. These Marines and Vikings are going to have to come over there too from PhyitR if he wants to take on this army. Ruh-roh. This little group of Marines and Thors could get swarmed very quickly, as edamame now slowly streaming his units over here. Not something you want to do when you're on Terran. You want to keep your units clumped up as possible. You did notice that Ketricel is researching Sidestorm, as well as throwing down 5 Stargates. 5 Stargates. Are you kidding me right now? Going to be making a tech switch to Void Rays, I assume? We will see. But some Sidestorms would be just money right now. Those Sidestorms melt Vikings and Marines so fast. And the general Protoss progression here. Oh, we do have another frontal assault at the same time by Ketricel. It looks like just steamrolling the tanks, and now there are enough Stalkers here blinking underneath the Vikings. The Vikings look like they will be able to take out the Colossi. They will be able to take out all but 2 of them before the Stalkers take them out. And now the bottom team in very, very good shape right now. GSPRUSH has left the game. Here comes some Desperation Marines and Vikings going to be stimming up and taking out this Colossi very quickly. But is it going to be enough? I just don't think so. There are too many Stalkers here. Now blinking into the Marines, and that may not be the best idea ever that Ketricel had, because the Marines, once they're all up in your face, that is when they are the most deadly. And these Zealots look like they were focusing down the command center. Could have been used to soak up some damage there, but still the bottom team in very good shape here, as PhyitR has now landed a base at the gold. And these Marines were out of position trying to take out those rocks, and looks like they may be trying to make a counterattack. That is PhyitR. And we'll see how that goes here. He's going to be coming right up the gut into the natural expansions. And there are a bunch of Zealots and 1 Colossus here from Ketricel. And it's going to be close here. I don't think that's going to be enough to fight this off. He's going to need to warp in a lot more Zealots, and that is exactly what he is doing. The charge lots soaking up all the damage, and here comes the Zerglings around the backside, going to keep these Marines from getting away and clean them up. A nice play there. The bottom team, and oh no, edamame. He should have pushed out with his teammate PhyitR. The top team not coordinating their attacks very well. I must say that. And sorry, edamame, but I am ripping you a little bit, as edamame has not had the best macro this game, as well as letting his army get split apart in multiple places. And you gotta stay with your teammate, man. When in doubt, just follow your teammate around. That's always a good rule of thumb. So anyway, what I was gonna say before about the natural Protoss progression, you guys know. You go to Colossus, and then once that's countered with Vikings, you go to the High Templars. So yeah, nice of me to finish that thought now, right? Anyway, it looks like this game is going to be over here any minute as the top team has no resources left to mine. And so that is going to do it. Congratulations to the bottom team. Thank you, Ketricel, for sending me this game. It was diamond level. We did have a bunch of carriers on the way, so it was only a matter of time. And so yeah, thank you, Ketricel, for sending me this game. It was a pleasure to cast. That is going to do it for me. This is IrieStarcraft, and peace out.